his fall from the whatnot shelf, Slippy the fox did not land in snow and ice. He came down in a hot jungle in South America. Looking all around, he said to himself, that little gremlin was not joking when he said he had magic. Even without his wonder ring, he has sent us flying around the world. As Slippy Fox walked deeper and deeper into the jungle, he began to see many strange birds and animals and to hear many strange sounds. A big anteater stuck out its long tongue as the little fox ran near its hill of ants. The great spotted jaguar, the largest of the jungle cats, watched him run through the grass near its hiding place. Two brightly colored parrots looked down at him as he stopped under the tree where they were resting. Crowds of friendly monkeys raced through the trees to get a better look at this strange creature who had come into their jungle home. By this time, Slippy Fox was very hungry. He wondered if the monkeys would be good to eat, but he could not climb the trees to catch them. Soon he saw some fine purple fruits growing far above the monkeys' heads. If only I had Grimmy's wonder ring, the fox said to himself. I could use its magic to get all the food I want. But if I use my thinking cap, I can have both monkey and fruit for my dinner. Just then, the oldest of the monkeys came down lower in the tree and said, Who are you? I have not seen you here before. The little fox replied, I am Slippy Fox, and I am very hungry. Please bring me some of the purple fruits that hang above you in the trees. You may come up and help yourself to our fruits, said the monkey. I cannot come up, replied the fox. I cannot climb a tree, and I cannot hold with my tail as you can with yours. If you can't climb and hold with your tail, how do you get your food? Do you have magic? Asked the monkey. Oh, no, I use my thinking cap, said the fox. Thinking cap? I see no thinking cap. Where's this thinking cap of yours? Said the monkey. Bring down the fruit, and you will find out all about my thinking cap, replied the clever little fox. The old monkey climbed high in the tree and pulled some of the ripe fruit. Then, with the fruit in one hand, he let himself down, holding with his other hand and his tail. Hungry Slippy ate the fruit at once. Then he said, Thank you, little monkey. That was very good. And now do you see how I use my thinking cap? No, said the monkey. I do not even see your thinking cap. Is it a magic cap? You may think it is magic, said the clever little fox. Come closer, my friend. Come very close and look at the top of my head. You monkeys who use your tail to help you get your food must see how a wise fox uses his thinking cap. The little monkey stepped very near to the fox. Since he was looking at the top of Slippy Fox's head, he could not see the red tongue and the sharp teeth in the fox's open mouth. But the other monkeys saw what Slippy was going to do. They called to the old monkey to run, but it was too late. Slippy Fox caught the monkey and ran away with him in his mouth. The other monkeys made such a noise that the jaguar came out of his secret place to see what had happened. When he saw Slippy with the monkey, he raced away after the little fox. Soon Slippy saw that the jaguar was about to catch him. What do I do? He thought. What can I do to get away from the jaguar? Your thinking cap can't help you now, said the monkey. Just then Slippy Fox saw a small boat on the river hidden under a tree that reached far out over the jungle waters. With the monkey still in his mouth, the fox jumped into the boat. Safe in the boat, the little fox thought, Now you see how I use my thinking cap. I am a clever one. I do not need magic. Now I'm safe, and I have a fat, foolish monkey for my dinner too. At that moment, a big alligator rolled into the river and splashed the water with its tail. As the jaguar stood on the bank and watched, the alligator came up under the little boat and lifted it out of the water on his big back. Slippy Fox was so frightened that he dropped to the monkey and cried for help. Quickly, the clever little monkey reached for a low hanging limb and climbed high into the tree where he was safe. While the alligator rocked the boat on his back, the monkey called to Slippy, "Now is the time to use your thinking cap." How Slippy Fox wished he had the Wonder Ring. How he wished he could remember the magic words that made things smaller or larger. But the poor little fox was so excited that he could not remember the magic words. He would soon have to be been eaten alive by the alligator if everything had not turned topsy-turvy again. Grimmy the Gremlin, in some faraway place, had made the world spin around again. This made the little boat slip off the alligator's back and go racing down the jungle river. At last, the little fox was being carried away from danger. Slippy Fox looked at the monkey hanging by its tail in the tree and said to himself, "A monkey that is cleverer than a fox. He uses his thinking cap as well as his tail." Strange thing to say. Rip, the little raccoon, looked down from the tree in which he had landed. He said to himself, "How lucky I am! This big forest will be a real picnic ground for me." Then he came down the tree and began to look for food. But he could not find any bird eggs. He could not find a field mouse. He could not find any wild berries. At last he decided to look for some animal that lived in the forest and ask where he could find something to eat. After some time, Rip saw some birds in a tree. They sat very still and sang no songs. "Hello," Rip called to them. "Why are you not singing?" "We are not happy," replied the birds. "We have nothing to sing about." "Oh, that is too bad," said Rip. Then he asked, "Can you tell me where I can find a field mouse?" "No," said the birds. "We can tell you only that you will find nothing good in this forest." Then they put their heads under their wings as if they did not want to talk any more. Rip ran on through the dark forest. Soon he found a deer standing under the tree. He called to the deer, "Good morning. Can you tell me where I can find a good fish?" The deer looked at Rip with sad eyes and replied, "I can tell you where the stream is, but you will find no fish there now." And he turned and walked stiffly away. "Something is wrong with this forest," thought Rip. "I can find no food, the birds do not sing, the deer is sad and walks as if he is hurt. What can the trouble be?" At last the little raccoon found a brown bear lying in a hole in a tree. "Mr. Bear, please tell me where you find your food," he called. "I can find no eggs, no field mice, and no fish. I like the same foods you like. Where do you look for food?" The bear stared at Rip and said, "Where did you come from? How did you get into this forest? I've never seen anyone like you here before, you with your black mask. If you were some robber the old witch has brought here, go away and let me sleep." "Old witch," thought Rip. "Old witch!" Then the raccoon became very excited. He crept close to the bear and said in a whisper, "I know nothing about the old witch. I was thrown down here by Grimmy the Gremlin. I do not know where I am. I do not know why the birds do not sing. I do not know why the deer seem so sad. Please tell me what is wrong here. Tell me about the old witch." "I see that you are a stranger," said the bear. "You do not know about our trouble. I shall tell you, and then you must go away at once. If you stay here too long, you too will come under the spell of the witch." Then the little brown bear told Rip a very strange story. He said, "You are in fairy tale land. This is once the happiest forest in the world. The deer ran and played in the woods. The many songbirds filled the woodland with their songs. The squirrels and the rabbits made their homes here. Many fish leaped in the clear water of the stream. There was plenty of food for all. But that all has changed now." "What made it change?" asked the little raccoon. "The witch. We are under the spell of the witch now," the bear told him. "This forest has long been a part of the grounds of the fairy palace where the fairy princess once lived. One day a brave prince lost his way in the forest, and the princess showed him the way back to the road. The prince fell in love with her and wanted to marry her. But a queer old woman who lived down by the lake wanted the prince to marry her daughter. No one knew it then, but this queer woman was a wicked old witch. When she learned that the prince was going to marry the princess, she began to use her magic. She made the water in the stream so cold that the fish swam away. She made the fires in the forest that drove many of the creatures away. She made the forest dark and full of danger. Then one day, when the fairy princess came down to the woods to talk to the birds and animals that were left, the witch made her disappear. "Oh, did they ever learn what became of the beautiful princess?" asked the excited little raccoon. "No, no one has ever been able to find her," said the bear. "The princess looked everywhere, but he could not find anyone who has seen her. He has even looked all through the witch's house, but he did not find the princess there. The prince still rides through the forest every day, hoping to find his princess, but he is very sad now. All the creatures of the forest are very sad too, for they loved the princess as she loved them. There are no longer any lights in the great palace. The little gold coach in which the princess always rode stands by the door in the dust. Do the witch and her daughter come here to talk to the creatures in the forest as the princess did?" asked Rip. "Oh no," replied the bear. "They do not like the creatures of the forest. They throw stones at us, and if any animal goes near their home, the witch puts it under a spell and makes it cry with pain. When the deer looked into the window of the witch's house one day, she put him under a spell. His legs have been stiff ever since." "What did the deer see in the witch's house?" asked Rip. "Very little," replied the bear. "They have no friends, and the only pet they have is an ugly green frog. They are so wicked that they will not even let the poor frog hop outside the house and play in the water." The little raccoon thought for a moment and said, "A green frog! A green frog would make a good dinner for me. I think that I will go to the witch's house and catch that frog." "Oh, no, no," cried the bear. "You must not go near the witch's house. She will hurt you, or perhaps she will kill you or make you disappear. You must leave this dark woodland at once. Run through the woods to the right of us, and you will come to a road that will take you out of this bewitched land." But Rip did not go to the right. Even though the bear had told him not to go to the witch's house, he turned to the left and ran out of sight in the dark woods. After some time, the little raccoon came to a lake. He stopped to look for a fish or a frog, but there was not a fish or a frog in the lake. Soon he saw a little house almost hidden by the dark trees. Rip had never seen a witch or a witch's house. He wondered if the witch looked anything like Grimmy, the little goblin. He crept to the door of the strange little house and tried to open it. "Who is there? I heard someone at my door," cried a loud voice as the door flew open. There in the door stood the old witch, looking all around. She did not look like the mischievous gremlin, and she did not look at all friendly. The frightened little raccoon lay very still in the woodpile until she closed the door. When all was quiet again, inside the witch's house, the little raccoon crept up to the window. "Someone is at the window!" cried the witch's daughter. In a moment, the witch and her daughter ran out of the house and into the yard, closing the door behind them. While they looked all around the yard, Rip climbed a tree and leaped onto the roof. Just as Rip climbed to the top of the chimney, the witch heard the noise and looked up. When she saw Rip's black mask, she cried, "It is a robber! A robber in a black mask is on our chimney! Come down, you robber! When you come to a witch's house, you will get more than you're looking for." "I know what I shall do to you. I will change you into a snail. Bring me my box of magic, daughter." Shush. By the time the girl had brought the box of magic, Rip had slipped into the chimney and gone down tumbling into the house. When the witch saw that the raccoon was no longer in the chimney, she was afraid. "That robber has magic of his own," she cried to her daughter. "He has disappeared." "What will you do if his magic is stronger than yours?" asked the girl. "We must go into the house and lock the door. I have a box of much stronger magic there," replied the witch. Just as the witch opened the door, the raccoon saw the ugly frog sitting on the floor. Quickly, he caught the frog and raced through the open door. The witch was so surprised and frightened that she dropped her little box of magic. Without waiting to look for it, She cried out some magic words and changed herself and her daughter into two black crows. With loud cries, the two crows flew out of the forest and disappeared. As any raccoon would do, Rip ran down to the blue lake to wash the frog before eating it. He dipped the frog into the blue water, but, strange to say, when he took it out of the water, it was no longer a frog. It was the beautiful princess who smiled up at him. The princess patted the raccoon on the head and said, "A robber, just as the old witch said. You've robbed the witch of her magic. You've broken her magic spell. You've returned me to my people." The witch had changed me into a frog, and the only way I could ever be changed back to myself was to be dipped in this enchanted lake. Thank you for what you have done for me. Soon the sunshine brightened the dark forest. The birds began to sing in the trees. Fish began to leap in the lake. Then the prince came riding by. When he saw his lovely princess, he was filled with joy. As the woodland creatures crowded around the prince and the princess to wish them well, Rip ran back to the witch's house. He picked up the shiny box of magic which the witch had dropped on the ground. Then as he ran towards the road, he said to himself, "With this box of magic, I should have no trouble finding my way home. And who knows? The witch's magic may be stronger than Grummy's wonder ring." Blinky and the Skyliner. Blinky, the owl, was not afraid when he tumbled off the whatnot shelf, for he could fly very well. As he fluttered around the big world laughing to himself, he said, "I wonder what that goblin Granny thinks of his magic now. He cannot use it against me up here in the air. Nothing can happen to me when I'm flying." But, strange to say, something did happen to Blinky just then. He saw something strange coming toward him. "I wonder what that is," he said. "I never saw a bird like that before." As Blinky watched, other things came flying towards him. "1, 2, 3, he cried out, but by that time there were queer things on every side of him. "Oh dear me, that is the work of that gremlin. I did not think his magic could reach to the sky," cried the frightened little owl. Blinky had never seen anything there like these strange creatures in the air. The first one looked like a bird with a long bill. One looked like a big fish pulling on a string of smaller fish behind it. Another looked like a grinning cat with green eyes. One looked like a tiger with a long striped tail. And another looked like an angry dragon with eyes like balls of fire. Still another was round and yellow as the sun. The poor little owl was so frightened that he wanted to fall to the earth and land anywhere he could. But as he turned around in the air, he was caught in a strange box that looked something like an airplane. He closed his wings and sat very still in front of the box. "This is a real Skyliner," he said to himself. Where it will take me, I cannot guess." Suddenly, the Skyliner wobbled in the air and began to come down lower and lower. Soon, Blinky heard voices. Looking down, he saw crowds of people. Little boys were shouting and laughing and pointing at the things in the air. Blinky did not know it, but he had come into the middle of a Japanese kite festival. One little boy cried, "Look, my Skyliner has a pilot. He is coming in for a landing." As the boy rolled up his kite string on the stick in his hand, the Skyliner kite with Blinky in it came down over his head. At that very moment, the sun came from behind a cloud. In the bright light, Blinky could hardly see his at all. He blinked his eyes as the boy lifted him from the kite, and the children crowded around to see the stranger from a faraway land. "How funny he is!" cried one boy. "See how he can turn his head around and look behind him." "Hear him say, 'Pff, pff,' like a cat," said another. "This is the best prize we have ever had at a kite festival," said the boy who owned the Skyliner kite. "I shall keep him and call him Skyliner because he is the pilot who brought my kite down safely. He is afraid to fly away from me. See how he holds to my hand." Blinky was not afraid to fly away, but he could not see where to fly in the bright light. As he turned his head from side to side looking at the boys, he thought, "If I had the wonder ring, I would turn the day into night so that I could see. But since I have no magic, I must wait for the night to come. Then I will fly right back to the quiet old whatnot shelf. But getting away from the boys would not be as easy as Blinky had thought it would be. They took him home and tied a string to his leg. Then they tied the string to a limb of a tree. This string cannot hold me, thought Blinky. When the children left him, he began trying to cut the string with his bill. He had almost pulled the string to pieces when a dog saw him in the tree. The dog barked and barked until the boy came to see what was wrong. "Oh, so you thought you could cut the string and fly away," he said to the owl. Then he took Blinky and put him in a little straw basket. He tied the top of the basket and set it on the floor in his room. It was late, and the boy soon went to sleep. Blinky tried to find some way out of the basket, but he could not get the top off. He was so angry that he began to cry. Then, when the cat heard the coming from the basket, she crept up to it and sniffed all about. As she walked around the basket, Blinky poked his strong bill through the little hole and caught the cat's tail. "Meow, meow," cried the cat. She started running around the room. As she ran, she pulled the basket and Blinky, still holding her tail, along behind her. Just then the boy woke up and saw the basket rolling along the floor. He heard the cat crying. When he heard the owl cry out, Who are you?" "I know that owl cannot talk," said the boy, jumping out of bed. "I wonder if he's a magician who's changed himself into a goblin or an elf. I must see what is in that basket now." When the boy opened the basket, Blinky fluttered out and disappeared into the dark night. As the wise little owl made his way through the night, he said to himself, "There is sometimes magic in words, even if you don't know it. And Grummy had his magic words, and I had mine, and mine had enough magic to open that basket." Belling the Tiger. Dipsy Duck's wings were not as strong as the owl's wings. He flapped and turned over and over as he made his way down toward the big world. He could see the big blue water of the Pacific Ocean, and he thought he would land on the water. But strange to say, Dipsy Duck did not come down on the blue water. Instead, he came down with a bump in a strange land. He stood up, shook his tail, and snapped his yellow bill. "I wonder where I am," he said, "and I hear bells ringing." When the little duck turned to look for the bells, he saw a big figure standing in front of him. "A dragon!" he cried. "I wish I could remember Grimmy's magic words, then I could make myself too little for the dragon to see." Since Dipsy Duck could not remember the magic word, he turned to run away. But Dipsy Duck did not run away. As he turned around, a voice asked, "Where are you going, little duck?" Standing there was a big Siamese cat with eyes as blue as the sky. Dipsy Duck did not know what to do. With a dragon on one side and a big cat on the other, he decided to stand still. "Oh, who are you?" asked the little duck. "I am Sansan, the Siamese cat," said the cat. "I have never seen you here before. Who are you, and where are you going?" The duck replied, "I am Dipsy Duck, but I do not know where I am going. I do not even know where I am. I heard the bells ringing, and I saw that terrible dragon waiting to eat me." Sansan moved near the duck and said, "Do not be afraid of the bells and the dragon. The bells you hear are only the temple bells. The wind makes them ring when it blows. The dragon at the door of the temple is not a bad dragon. He is only a stone dragon. The only really bad creature around here is the terrible tiger." "Where is the terrible tiger?" asked Dipsy Duck. "The tiger lives in the jungle, but he comes out and catches the smaller animals," replied the cat. "Sometimes he even comes into the towns and tries to kill people." "Why don't the animals and the people hide when they hear the tiger coming?" asked Dipsy Duck. "Oh, they would hide if they could hear him coming, but the tiger moves so quietly that no one knows when he is nearby," replied Sansan. The little duck blinked his eyes and thought about it for a moment. He could hear the temple bells ringing and see the stone dragon sitting by the temple door. Then he looked at Sansan and said, "I know what we can do. We can put a bell around the tiger's neck. As he walks, the bell will ring and everyone will know that he is coming. That would be fine. But who is brave enough to bell the tiger? Asked Sansan. Dipsy Duck, who had been so afraid of the stone dragon, held his head up high, spread his wings, and said, I am. I will bell the tiger. Did you ever see a tiger? Asked the surprised cat. No, but I'm not afraid, replied the little duck. Then he waddled off to the queer old temple to get one of the little bells. His eyes grew bigger and bigger as he walked up to the door and past the terrible dragon. He almost wished that he had not said he was so brave. But he soon pulled down a bell with a rope on it and raced out the door and into the jungle. Sansan ran from place to place and told everyone she met that Dipsy Duck had gone to bell the tiger. This duck is very brave, she said. He has gone into the jungle to bell the tiger. Now when you hear a bell, you'll know the tiger is coming. Then you can run and hide. Day after day, Dipsy went here and there looking for the tiger. He saw some big funny monkeys. He saw many strange birds and animals. One day he even saw an elephant. Dipsy Duck wanted to talk to the animals that lived in the jungle, but the animals always disappeared before he could call to them. He wondered why they all ran away and would not talk to him. One day, when Dipsy Duck became very sleepy, he sat down on a log and put his head under his wing. Soon he was fast asleep. Before long, a baby panda walked by. When the panda saw the fluffy ball on the log, he stopped to see what it was. With one paw on the log and his nose very close to the duck, the little panda said, Wake up and tell me who you are. The tiger! Oh my, the tiger! Cried Dipsy Duck as he jumped off the log and tried to run away. But his foot caught in the rope on the bell and he fell to the ground. I am not a tiger, I am only a panda, said the little black and white animal. Then, seeing the rope and hearing the bell, he said, You must be the duck who went to bell the tiger. I'm glad you are not the tiger, said Dipsy Duck. I've wanted to talk to someone, but the animals always run away before they see me. You are the first person who has not run away from me. Please tell me why they run from me. I did not run away from you because you were asleep, and I did not hear the bell, said the panda. When the animals hear the bell, they think the tiger is coming. You see, they think you must have belled the tiger by this time. Until you find the tiger, you should carry the bell instead of the rope in your mouth. Then the bell would not ring when you walk. Oh, thank you. After this, I shall carry the bell in my mouth, said the happy little duck. Dipsy Duck said goodbye to the panda. Then he pulled the rope around his neck, took the bell in his mouth, and walked into the deep jungle. Before long, Dipsy heard a noise. He stopped and listened. There it was again. Grrr. Looking around, he found himself face to face with a big creature with black stripes on its body. Who are you? Cried Dipsy Duck, dropping the bell. I am the tiger, and I'm going to eat you alive, replied the animal. Dipsy Duck was not so brave now. He began to run as fast as he could go. The rope was still around his neck, and the bell tinkled as he ran. All the other animals heard the bell and ran to hide. And this time it was well that they did, for the terrible tiger was leaping after the frightened little duck. At last Dipsy Duck reached the town. When the people heard the bell, they thought the tiger was in their streets. Quickly they ran into their homes and closed the doors. Soon sticks and stones were coming into the street from all sides. With sticks and stones and the terrible tiger coming towards him, the poor little duck did not know what to do. But suddenly Dipsy Duck turned tipsy-turvy. He had run into a big rope net that the people had stretched across the street to catch the tiger. Dipsy Duck was so little that he slipped right through the net and fell into the street before the big old tiger landed in the net. When the tiger rolled over in the net, the men who had at last seen him following the duck had soon tied him fast. When Dipsy Duck got up, he saw that the bell had caught in the net and the rope had fallen around the tiger's neck. At last the tiger was belled. You must have magic. You have caught the terrible tiger for us, cried the people. Dipsy Duck stood tall and brushed his coat. He looked very brave as he replied, Oh, it was nothing at all. Then with one eye on the tiger in the net and the other on the blue-eyed cat, he rose into the air. As he flapped his wings, he said to himself, "If I have any magic, I know what I'll do. I'll fly straight home, and non-stop, too."